This can only get worse. Hi everyone, this has been the Insane Game. This is the Insane Game Freak here to bring you Durarara Season 2, Episode 9, I believe is what we're on. Episode 9, right? Yeah, Episode 9 review. Holy shit. Holy goddamn shit. I will be casually eating and drinking throughout this one because I was eating and drinking through the episode and I almost bust through the entire bag because of it. No product placement, but Tom's bacon cheddar fries are fucking delicious. I think I've said that in a few videos before. Love the way these things taste. Fucking amazing. Now, before I get into the review itself, let's talk about something really cool. So for those who may not have known, Aniplex has recently announced the dub for Durarara Season 2, which is awesome. Which is fucking awesome. Even though it's kind of expected because the first season did well. The first season has a dub, the first season has a Blu-ray, and the first season is godlike. Well, the cool thing is that when they're starting the dub for this thing, which is the first dub episode of it, is coming out this Tuesday. I woke up on a Tuesday, got to see my boys and girls in English, girls throw it up on a Tuesday. See, and I don't even like that. I don't even care for the song, but there's so many references. There's so many rap songs that are about like certain days of the week and certain things now. It's like every time I hear about something happening a week ago, well, you already know. So we'll be getting, I don't know, I'm curious, what do people think about me? Do I need to talk about the dub in terms of, I think what I might do is that I'll probably still talk about the dub in some way in these episodes, like for the few next episodes, I'll be watching the dub casually too. So I'll probably comment on their English voices as we hear them. For like the first few arcs, it's just really, I think Ruri's the only voice, that new voice in that first arc. Everyone else is the same. No, him, yeah, and Igor, because we've already heard Isaiah's sisters in the OVA from the first season. And I'm assuming they're going to keep their voices, even though they were only really in like one episode. But yeah, so we have Dura, I wouldn't call it simul dubbing, but I am going to say I'm a prophet because I was hoping Aniplex would do this. Even if it isn't simul dubbing, this is still relatively close. So yeah, now why don't you try to do that for Nisekoi, guys? Not everybody wants a sub-only release for Nisekoi, guys. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways, getting into the episode. This episode can easily be summed up as fuck you, Aoba. Fuck you, Aoba. Fuck you, Aoba. Up until the doors open, Mikado still had a chance to get the fuck out of there. And I'm also starting to question whether he's really smiling or not, because even though it stated that he's smiling, that he was smiling and that he gets a thing, he has a thing for it, which that might still be true. Why isn't that Mikado, even every time we get any type of inner monologue or thought from Mikado, why is it that Mikado either isn't even aware that he's smiling or what? Like, is it that subconscious, or is he really not smiling and Aoba's fucking with him? Because it's not like Mikado can see his own face during these sequences. It's just implied, or is Aoba seeing something that isn't there just to push Mikado in a certain direction? Which I can easily see being the case. Also, I love how they keep saying how Mikado isn't the main character. He's saying Celti's the main character, yet you have a narrator come in to focus on Mikado. And I understand that might be, I think that happened in the first season too. But like that, see, that's what pushes people to think Mikado's the main character, because you keep giving a subtle little hint that Mikado is the main character. And I think Celti's still, I think that's the thing about Durarara. Durarara has like so many characters that could be the main character. It's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, getting back on to point, Aoba has pretty much trapped Mikado. Like, Mikado has no fucking choice, no chances now anymore. Once those dudes, once Chikage's dudes recognized him and say, oh, and they heard Aoba say he's big boss, he's screwed. He's screwed now, because no matter what he does, even if he chooses not to do with this shit, they already know what he looks like. So he now has guys coming after him from all sides. Why? Because Aoba opened his fucking mouth. And Aoba, that's what it is. Aoba doesn't know about Masaomi. He doesn't know about everything that happened in the first season. So he doesn't know about the yellow scarves and Masaomi. Or if he does, he doesn't know that he and Mikado are friends or connected in some way. He probably doesn't even know about Henri and Saika, because he treats Henri as a normal girl, even though he keeps busting Mikado out for liking her. And here's the situation. And Salty was right, because he calls him like a mini Izaya. That's what it is. He's pushing Mikado into a certain direction. He's just not doing it with the same level of finesse as Izaya does. Izaya would do all that shit over the phone, whereas Aoba has to get somewhat rough because Aoba isn't just in that position. And now that they know what he looks like, it's like, even now, even at the end of this episode, when it's like Salty, Akane, fucking Henri, Mikado off together, having their own little issues, Mikado still knows that even if he runs away from them now, they're either going to keep attacking Dollars members, which they'll probably still keep doing that, or they're going to now just start directly coming after him. Either way, he can't really run from this now. Like, Aoba's put him into a position where he doesn't have the ability to even follow Masaomi's warning. Masaomi's warning is to stay away and, become indifferent. Unfortunately, the moment you met Aoba was the moment you lost the game. And I still think that Aoba's being manipulated by Izaya, but isn't aware that he's being manipulated by Izaya. Then again, and I have to think Izaya's aware of Aoba. I know Aoba's obviously aware of Izaya. And now that Henri knows that the Dollars are in some shit, and technically Salty isn't, I believe Salty is a dollar. I don't think Henri's technically a dollar. I think Henri is friends with, I think Henri knows that Aoba and Mikado are dollars, but doesn't know that he's the leader of the Dollars, like I've been saying in previous episodes, which will probably lead into some issue, because I know at some point Henri's going to try to get involved to help Mikado, and Mikado's going to be like, I got this. And that's what it is now. Like, it's not even, I wouldn't even argue that Mikado's falling. I'm going to say Mikado was literally pushed off the cliff, and the only thing Mikado had left to do was to just swing left a little bit to make his handhold break off. Like, Aoba has literally done everything but, like, actually knock him off the cliff. He's putting Mikado in a situation where he can do nothing. It's literally like, because Chikage, you can already tell, is not going to be that kind of individual that you can reason with. So it's either you die or you fucking fall. Or it's like either you die or you become the leader that you didn't want to become. And now giving him the option to become the leader of the Blue Squares, well, he won't lose his integrity as a dollar. Now it's like, well, either I become the leader of the Blue Squares and take down Chikage from the Blue Square side of things, or I remain my dollar self and get my ass kicked, because, as I said, Chikage does not seem like a guy who's going to reason with Mikado. And even if he would, they're still going to hold Mikado responsible, because it's like, dude, even if you didn't intend for this to happen, you are the leader of the Dollars. You made a gang where anyone can join, which by proxy means if your gang starts shit, anyone who starts shit running the name of Dollar, you are automatically responsible for it. So I already know Chikage is not going to cut him any slack. Granted, Mikado might still be in that passive mindset. The only thing also I think I didn't really care for is why it's like Salty sees Mikado being pushed in this situation. So what she decides to do is, when she gets found out, she's like, when she gets found out, she walks up and goes, I don't really have any involvement in this, so carry on. And I'm like, you see Mikado's in a bad position, dude. Help me. Help me. Like, that's the only thing I got. That's the only thing I'm thinking in my mind. I'm like, you see Mikado struggling. I'm like thinking in Mikado's mind, I'm like, Salty, help me. Help me, Salty. This is not beneficial to me at all. I am trapped right now. help me. And Celti's just kind of like, I heard everything, but I don't have the right to get involved. I'm like, oh, come on, Celti. And then the only other thing to really talk about is, can you guys not hear me? I'm like thinking it me. Refresh the page, guys, because you should be able to hear me. But yeah, I can see the chat. I can see the chat, and I could probably go on my Google Plus page and see the chat. I don't know if there might be two separate chats, and that might be the reason why I'm not seeing, because I'm only looking on the YouTube chat, because I don't even think I have the Q&A app open for me to look on the other one. But let me check real quick, because it should show that I'm streaming right now, which it does. But I was seeing if it actually showed like my events. Yeah, the events real quick. There might be like a separate chat on the events I'm not looking at. Sorry to kind of pause the review for a second. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing any comments, which I don't think I am. Anyways, getting back to the point, but anyways, the only other thing to mention really for this episode is probably the most straightforward episode we got. Like, most of the episodes are usually a lot of extra things going around, which is still happening, but it's not like with different time periods. Like, this is all happening in sequence. It's like everything that is happening all at once, which I'm surprised. But the only thing else I can mention is Shizuo. This episode really does prove that Shizuo has grown, because Shizuo didn't even attack these guys. That's the first time I've ever seen Shizuo run away from a fight. Shizuo he has ran twice in season 2 more than he's ever run in his life. I've never seen Shizuo run from a fight. So I guess that whole theory about him calming down was true. Because the first episode kind of implied it, but like the way it was implied didn't make any sense. It's like, I'm so aggressive that I'll break my finger, or at least damage the shit out of my finger, trying to ring the doorbell, but for some stupid reason I just don't break the doors down. Like, it didn't even make any sense. And that's obviously because he's calmed down a bit. And this episode shows it, and Izaya even mentions it. Because Izaya is probably still trying to work on that whole Celti awakening her head thing. That's obviously what she's trying to do. She's trying to awaken it. Also, getting into he and she's for a second. Are Verona and Sloan not aware of what gender Celti is, even though it's like stupidly obvious? I'm also trying to figure out if keeping Akane away from these guys is a good thing or a bad thing yet. Because, as I said, Yggdrasil obviously did something to Ruri, and Yggdrasil wants to do something with Akane, which still makes me feel like they're related, which they probably are, even though it looks like next week we're getting her backstory and probably Mikado's true answer, because next episode will be episode 10. At that point, you got 2 more episodes, and then we'll hit the climax. So, yeah. This was a pretty straightforward and nuts episode. I can only imagine how the climax is going to be for this, because I don't think, as much as I would like to think that Chikage stuff will be wrapped up this arc, I don't think it is. I feel like, if anything, the Akane stuff might be wrapped up, and the Chikage stuff might pause for a little bit. I feel like, I still think that at the end of this arc, they're going to just show Mikado being the villain, well, not being the villain, but being pretty much the figurehead that Aoba wants him to be. That's obvious what it is. Still trying to figure out what the importance of Izaya's sisters are, because they literally are featured and introduced formally. They kiss Aoba, and then, like, that's it. And then the Igor stuff. Like, they have literally been very inconsequential for the first new characters to be really pushed. I feel like the people watching the stream right now have like no fucks to give. Actually, I think that's just what it is. I think if you're watching the stream right now, some of these people just have no fucks to give because the conversations going on in the chat are like nuts. But the episode was good. Fuck Aoba though. Actually, I think like I'm gonna be saying that for like the rest of the season. Like fuck Aoba because Aoba can go eat a dick. Aoba can go eat a dick, man. He trapped that nigga. He trapped him. He trapped him. He has nothing. He has nowhere to go now. He has to either be. He's gonna have to do what Aoba says, even if he's not gonna do it the way Aoba wants him to. Because eventually, when you become a part of a gang and you start dealing with the ins and outs of being a gang and the struggles and the real shit that happens of being in a gang, he's gonna change regardless if he wanted to or not. Like that's it. Like that's it. It's over. It's either you change or you don't change, and if you don't change, you die. So we're gonna get that Dark Mikado. I know it's coming because he has no choice now. And as I said, I don't think Chikage is gonna reason with him. So we might get an episode of Mikado trying to reason with Chikage that probably not working, and Mikado being like, "Fuck it. We're gonna have to approach this the way I didn't want to approach it." And he'll probably find his inner darkness by the end of this. So, and then I'm assuming the next part, which comes out in the summer, will probably just be more. The next part will probably just be more, pretty much showing off Dark Mikado for a while, and then I'm pretty sure the third part that happens next week. No, Durarara is an anime. Well, it's a light novel based on a. It's an anime based on a light novel. And then I'm assuming the part next year will have everything ending up because Masami will probably get involved next week. It's not based on the game. Durarara is originally a light novel, and the anime is based on the light novel. There might be a game for Durarara, but Durarara is not based on a game. Durarara is based on a light novel. The anime is anyway. As you can see in the title, it's at episode 9. But if anyone has any questions, you can ask them right now. As far as my thoughts on the episode, that's about it. Durarara has fights in it, but that's not really the whole shtick behind Durarara. Durarara's biggest draw is that in the city, almost anything can happen, and almost anything will happen. It's an anime that always keeps you on your toes. To me personally, watching episode reviews of Durarara from the perspective of someone who's never really watched Durarara before kind of ruins the joy of Durarara. It's fine. But I don't know how many of you guys have actually watched the episode. But if any of you had, is there anything Durarara related you want to talk about? This episode was pretty fucking legit. It had me pumped throughout the entire thing because I was just curious where everything was gonna go. Because we know the next episode will be mainly a backstory, probably mixed with some plot. Then episode 11 and 12 will probably just be the climax episodes. So I'll wait a little bit for the lag to catch up and you guys can tell me. Oh, it's not even close. Naruto and One Piece are not in the same type of category. Like, a lot of Durarara's biggest draw is the fact that it's somewhat of a slice of life in certain aspects. It's like a supernatural slice of life with sinning-esque moments. Like, I can never really fully explain Durarara the right way because Durarara is not really like anything else. Because shit just kind of happens in Durarara. Durarara doesn't have like an ongoing plot. Well, it kind of does, but it's not really a plot that you'll really understand until like near the end of the first season. But I guess, like as I said, the general theme of Durarara is that in the city, almost anything can happen, and that human beings will do the most weird things. No, the show is following the light novel. It does not have filler because it's following a light novel, and the light novel it's following is over. They're actually on the second, like, the new series of Durarara. So, like, this entire story arc with Mikado, Henri, and Celti, and Masaomi, that's over. Like, that's already been finished in terms of, like, if you wanted to read the end of this, of what I'm watching, you could. Because it's already over. I don't know if it's translated into English, but it's already over. By the time the season ends, we'll have like 36 episodes. So Durarara in total will probably be somewhere in like the 60s. Actually, yeah, it'll be like 63 episodes probably. Well, that's if it doesn't get OVAs, which it probably get OVAs too. But I think I'll just cut it off for here and have people come back and watch the playback because none of you, I don't think anyone in here right now has seen Durarara. And if I wanted to do, and if I need to, I might do an intro to Durarara video on the second channel. But in terms of the episode review, I'll probably leave it off here. So I look forward to next week and seeing Akane's backstory, so I can understand whether I want her to be ending up with Shiki and his guys, or do I want her to chill with Henri and them? Because I need to know definitively if she's related to Rory. I think she is, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later.